Hi, I'm Jeremy, and, well, I do have pneumonia. I feel like I'm in Pneumonia Anonymous. Welcome back to Extraordinary Times. I am your humble host, Jeremy. If you haven't remembered me the last few days, it's okay. AJ does a good job. But also, thank you for those of you who have been doing the things that you have been doing for me. And I really, really greatly appreciate you guys. Y'all are awesome. But on to the first story of today, which actually is the replacement refs in the NFL, who we know were so terrible that the NFL just had to, they caved. They realized that, you actually have to pay people real money if you want real results. If you want real work, you got to pay real wages. And that's really hard to balance in this economy. But, of course, it's the NFL. They're just sweating money all the time. But we move on to a story that deeply infuriates me. Y'all know my love of the U.S. military, and if you don't, hi, welcome to Extraordinary Times. But I really have to kind of hate on the leadership today because they have declared Julian Assange, the leader of the WikiLeaks website, enemy of the state. Now, if you don't know how serious that is, he is actually on the same level as Taliban, as Al-Qaeda. Like, he is, if you talk to him, you could be charged with conspiring with the enemy. Like, it's bad. Now, for those of you who don't know my stance on Julian Assange, here it is. The guy got charged with these crimes in Sweden the exact same day as him releasing secret U.S. documents. If there's nothing fishy there for you, you ain't thinking hard enough. It's frightening to me that they can curb free speech that hard. National secrets being fine and good. I can't wrap my head around anything that is that dangerous except maybe, names and addresses of spies and people that work in that community. And, maybe he releases some of that. So, just take him and put him in a place where he doesn't have internet access. Let him live. Let him do his thing. Just let him go. Gosh, I feel like a beetle. Now to move on to something that makes me a little more happy inside. AJ covered a little while ago the baby that they found in Afghanistan on a roadside, and they were really, really kind of skittish about finding her and picking her up because, well, they use roadside bombs out there and they have no respect of children. So the Polish troops that found her, took her finally and brought her and took care of her. And now that baby has been placed with a shopkeeper and his wife, and they are just they sound real nice, real good folk. So they named her Arya, which in their language means happiness. That just feel good inside before I go off and rant like I'm about to. But why would you rant, Jeremy? Thank you for asking the other side of me. Well, Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi spoke to the UN in the, they're having UN talks and speeches and trying to come to some kind of UN conclusion to all this world violence that's been going around with the Mohammed blaspheming video that I don't like it. I don't think it's a good thing. But the fact of the matter is that Mohamed Morsi came onto the stage and said things such as, Egypt respects freedom of expression that is not used to incite hatred against anyone. He went on to say, these behaviors find people who defend them under the justification of the freedom of expression. These people overlook the fact that there should be limits on the freedom of expression, especially if such freedom blasphemes the beliefs of nations and defames their figures. Now, to that, I say, that's fine, that's good, but that's a third grader's view of freedom of expression. You don't understand what it means to be told that your stuff is stupid and wrong and you're going to hell and all of that, and be able to look at him and say, all right, well, I'll see you later. Instead of trying to wave a gun in their face and intimidate them into apologizing or killing them or whatever. I hate to tell you, Mr. Egyptian President, you don't understand a single thing about freedom. Freedom of expression is freedom for all sides, to come together and fight and argue and talk bad about each other. And at the end of the day, you know you can go home safe because your neighbor's not going to try and kill you because of what you said. That is freedom. That is America right there. That is why we are the greatest country in the universe. And we have the UN here, not over there. I'm just saying, you had to come here to say that. And you wonder why your people are violent. But, that being said, the guy who produced that Innocent of Muslims film that everybody's so enraged about, he actually was found today. He's a 55-year-old man by the name of Nakula Besley Nakula. They actually found him because he's a fraudulent check writer, and his last one was in 2010. Apparently, he was not supposed to touch a computer for 5 years without the express written permission of his probation officer, which he failed to do, so they arrested him because of that. And that is actual justice. You don't have to agree with someone to defend their right for them to say what they want to say, but if they do something illegal, you can arrest the ever-loving crap out of them. But we're going to come down off of that ranty high horse and go up to Alaska, where in Kodiak there was a woman who was texting on her phone and smoking and doing what she does. And so she went outside onto her balcony to go and flick her cigarette off her cliff edge into the ocean when she stepped on some grass, slipped, and fell off the cliff edge. Normally that would be the very tragic end to this story, but the cliff edge was structured just so that when she fell, she hit rocks about 60 feet below, but she survived, so she was able to call for help, and neighbors and people were able to hear her. Yes, it's Alaska, but there's people there, just trust me. But the Kodiak rescue people came, and they rappelled down the cliff face and stabilized her just in the nick of time where the rising tide was about at her toes when they got her onto the stretcher. Like, this story just makes me feel happy because rescue people, I'm not sure if you get enough credit any other day other than September 11th, but you guys do so much for us. Thank you so much. But for our last story of the day, we're going to bring you back down to Maryland, particularly Baltimore, particularly Johns Hopkins University, where they have some really, really crazy doctors. And I don't mean like evil scientist doctors. I mean like they just do the weird stuff. Like for this woman, Sherry Walters, who had ear cancer, and it was awful, and they had to remove part of her skull and her ear, and it was really, really bad day for her. So the doctors there, they're like, hey, I've had this theory that if you take some cartilage from another place, like, you know, your ribs or something, and, you know, reconstruct your ear, you can actually implant it in your arm right around here and grow it as an ear. So if that sounded really weird to you, don't worry. You're not alone. These guys, they did it. They grew an ear on her arm for months and months and months, and like blood vessels and everything like an ear is supposed to have, and then they put it back. And they gave her like a special hearing aid, and it's all together again. And these surgeons, they're incredible. For me, that's the most stunning thing today, is that we're growing new body parts on body parts so that, you know, it's all authentic material. We're not like growing them in labs. We're just, here, let me grow an ear on your arm. I can't believe that actually is a statement that can be said now. But that is all that we have for you today on the Extraordinary Times. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate y'all, and you know, we especially appreciate when you share us with your friends, and then y'all can both like and favorite and subscribe, especially if you're on YouTube. Please watch on YouTube. Thank you, and we will see you guys later. Fish stick. It's like he knows me. Be aware. And that was a long first story of the day.
Wait just a second. I'll come bearing again.
It's like he knows me. Johns Hopkins. That's a university, isn't it? Johns Hopkins University, right? Am I wrong? I'm gonna use the Googles.